Going on, everybody? I'm John O'Brien. This is a talking disaster, of course. And with week one in the books, it's time to go into week two. It is a Thursday while I'm recording this. It'll probably drop here in a couple hours. So we got a game on tonight. I'm not sure if I'll be able to watch it, but I'll look in. I'll be checking in on it. Uh, Not nearly as interesting as last week's Thursday game, but that's expected. Thursday night games, my opinion on Thursday night games is they are so hit or miss that it's ridiculous. You'll have Packers and the Saints one. Well, that's not a good example. Never mind. You have the Browns and Ravens one week, and then the next week it's Jaguars and Colts. So this is one of those games. This is one of those games. It's Giants against the Washington football team. Washington coming off a pretty good game, I would say, a good performance against the Chargers. I didn't think it would be that close, to be honest with you, but Washington's got a good defense, and they lost Ryan Fitzpatrick, so I was surprised they kept it that close, honestly. But Washington is favored by 3.5 points tonight against the New York Giants, and I love Washington here, and I'll give you a couple reasons why. I think if Heineke brings that dynamite that he had against the Bucs last year in the wild card, people forget for some reason that the Washington football team was the closest team to beating the Bucs last year. Somehow, I thought they were going to pull it off for a while, and I think that defense tonight is going to get after Daniel Jones. The Giants have a poor offensive line. It's kind of sad. I feel bad for Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones also turns that ball over a lot. Look for Chase Young to be super active tonight. Look for him to have a huge game. I wouldn't be surprised if this game is kind of similar to the one the Giants had last week on Sunday against Denver, because it's kind of a similar matchup, to be honest. Really good defense, and then an offense that's with a quarterback that can control the game. Excuse me. And then with a head coach, a defensive head coach who can make the right calls, make the right decisions, who will control the game, because Joe Judge I'm a little iffy on. I was high on him when they hired him because special teams coaches I think can really work. For example, John Harbaugh when they become head coaches. But now I'm starting to see that Joe Judge might not work, but they would be a way better team with an offensive line, because how are you supposed to get Saquon going, and how are you supposed to protect a young quarterback to keep him away from making mistakes if you don't have anybody protecting him? So Washington 3.5, I love it. I'm going to bet Washington here. Let's go into Sunday's games. The Raiders are going into Pittsburgh to face my Steelers. Steelers are favored by -5.5, and I'll be honest, I'm taking the Raiders here. Now, here's why. I don't think the Steelers are going to lose this game. They shouldn't. I don't think they're going to lose this game. But 5.5 points for this offense right now is not enough. I think the Raiders will lose by 5, maybe 4, maybe 3, maybe 2, maybe 1. It's going to be one of those, I hope. But, well, I take that back. Maybe I don't hope for it. Maybe I don't. But this offense right now, I don't see the Raiders scoring a lot on our defense, but I don't see our offense scoring a lot because that defense looked ferocious against the Ravens. Crosby looked ferocious, and the Steelers have problems on their offensive line too. And Ben Roethlisberger cannot move around like Lamar Jackson. So I think the Steelers might have some problems there. If they get the ball out quickly, they give it to their big guys, maybe they'll be able to break it open. I could see that too. So I'm going to take the Raiders going into Pittsburgh to cover 5.5 points, but walk away with the L. Let's go to the Saints-Panthers. Saints favored by 3.5, excuse me. And I like the Saints here. The Panthers came off a pretty good week 1 win, but it wasn't that impressive. It wasn't like, whoa, maybe they're different now. They barely beat the Jets. So that's just kind of what it is. And I think the Saints are at least going to start off the year hot now. I don't know how they'll finish this year, but I think Jameis is going to go into Carolina and at least beat them by 3.5 points. So I like the Saints there. Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals going into Chicago. The Bears are favored by 2.5 points. I like Andy Dalton to cover against his former team. This one, there's a lot of bets this week where I'm just kind of, I don't know. There's a lot of iffy ones. And I think the Bears will cover here. I'm not going to be surprised. If they don't cover this one, I don't think I'll pick them for a while until Fields comes in. But the Bengals, this is kind of Chicago's a tough place to play. And I think Burrow going in there, I think Khalil Mack will get going again. And I think the Bears defense will give the Bengals offense some issues. And I think the Bears win this game by a field goal. I would say 2017. To give you a prediction. Let's go to the Texans and Browns. Now I'm going to go Texans and Browns and Falcons and Buccaneers here. The Bucs play an afternoon game, I believe, 3 o'clock. The Bucs and the Browns are both favored by 12.5 points. So with these big numbers, one of them's going to cover and one of them's not. I could be wrong, but I want to pick, honestly, who's going to cover. Obviously, the Browns, I'm taking the Browns and Bucs to win both games. But I like Tyrod Taylor to go into Cleveland and lose by 10. The Browns are 12.5 points favorite. And Tyrod Taylor's somebody who's going to control a game. He's not going to turn it over. And he's not going to lose the game. He's not going to win it, but he's not going to lose it. Tyrod Taylor will go into Cleveland and at least put up a fight. I don't know how good the fight is because his team around him is not very good. Cleveland is all obviously levels ahead of the Houston Texans right now, but I don't like Tyrod Taylor going in there and losing by 12.5 more points. Falcons and Buccaneers, on the other hand, I'm going to take the Bucs to cover 12.5 points because I think the Falcons showed some real bad flaws on Sunday against the Eagles. The Eagles really exploited them. And I think that if Matt Ryan and Pitts and Ridley cannot get going again, it's going to be tough sledding against that defense, which is far superior than the Eagles' defense. Also, the Bucs' offense, far superior than the Eagles' offense. So I like the Bucs to run away with this game. I like the Bucs in a blowout. Bucs 12.5. I think they cover. Rams, Colts plus 3.5. I like the Rams here. I like Matt Stafford going into Indianapolis, and covering this. The Colts kind of have tough luck here. It is a hard way to get this Carson Wentz era going when you're playing probably the two best teams in the NFC West. Good Lord. The NFC West 2 weeks in a row. So I like Matt Stafford to cover, and I like the Colts too. I still think the Colts will win the division. I do. I still believe that because the AFC South, I think, is already looking like one of the weakest in football. And I think the Colts, once they hit their stride, start playing the Jaguars, start playing the Texans more, start playing the Titans more, I think they will be a playoff team. I do. I still do. Their coaching staff is excellent. Offensive line, excellent. When you have both of those things, you're usually going to be just fine. So but I still like the Rams there. Broncos, Jaguars plus 6. I like the Broncos here. I think very similar what I was saying with Washington and New York. I think this is very similar to the Broncos and Giants game from last Sunday. The Jaguars are clearly just not good enough to compete right now. And I don't even think the Broncos are very good. I really don't. But 6 points for Teddy Bridgewater, I think he will cover that. I don't know if they'll run away with the game. They might. That defense might force some problems with Trevor Lawrence. But I think Teddy Bridgewater is the type of guy that's going to go in there and win 23-14, something like that. Let's see, Bills, Dolphins plus 3.5. I like Josh Allen to bounce back this week. Again, tough defense. It's kind of a tough 2-week stretch for the Buffalo Bills here. But I like the Bills to go into Miami, and I like them to cover, and I like them to beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins looked a little limited on offense against the Pats last Sunday. The Pats defense is pretty decent, but so is the Bills. And 17 points, I don't think is going to be good enough to beat Josh Allen again. It was last week, but I don't think so this week. The Bills coaching staff and the Bills offense and the Bills defense has proved to us the last couple of years that they are capable of bouncing back. So I think the Bills do that, and I think the Bills will cover here. Patriots Jets +6. I like the Pats here. This game is also tough to call. I think either way, if the Jets cover, the Patriots are going to win. But the Patriots offense is going to have a very, very slow start to the season on their offensive side. Their defense already looks like they're firing on all cylinders, played very well against the Miami Dolphins. But the Pats offense, not so much. But the Jets defense is not the Dolphins defense. So they will look better. I think the Patriots will cover. Everyone knows Belichick's record against the New York Jets. Even without Tom Brady, I'm sure it's just fine. So I think Mac Jones goes into New York and at least covers by 6 to beat the Jets. 49ers, Eagles +3. This game was also tough for me because the Niners looked like absolute dynamite against the Lions, but then in the fourth quarter, they just left the stadium, it looked like. It was 41-17 in the fourth quarter. The final score was 41-33. So I don't know about this game. I really don't. But if I had to give you a prediction, I would not bet money on this game. But if I had to give you a prediction, I would say the Niners cover this. The Eagles are a better team than the Detroit Lions, though. And they're playing at home. Jalen Hurts looks to be pretty good. But that Niners offense is going to be a lot to handle for that Eagles defense. And I think the Niners will get it done. That is my prediction. I could see either way so easily. Let's see, Vikings-Cardinals. Cardinals have a huge win. Huge win. Cardinals are favored by 3.5 points. Vikings off a very disappointing start. I think the Cardinals will beat the Minnesota Vikings by more than 3.5 points. I don't think they'll be as on fire as they were. Kyler might go on a very, very, very long mean streak of just dominating teams when he plays them. And I could easily see that. And if that happens this Sunday, the Cardinals are a lock to cover 3.5 points. And I think they still are without that, because I think they are 3.5 points better than the Vikings. And I would give them even a little more after their big win against the Titans. So Cardinals -3.5, it's a good bet. This one is probably like the toughest, I would say. Cowboys-Chargers. Cowboys really proved me wrong last week, and they might this week too, because I'm going to roll with the Chargers here. Chargers are favored by -3.5 points. My thing with the Cowboys, they just lost to Marcus Lawrence for a couple weeks, and they lost a couple offensive linemen. Now, you have to face Joey Bosa. He's going to get after you. Dak has the ability to be mobile, and they lost one of their receivers as well, though. Chargers -3.5. I like them. Cowboys also very tough stretch to open the season with. I like the Chargers to cover 3.5 points. If the Cowboys keep proving me wrong, then maybe I'll start switching it up. But I like the Chargers here. But then again, the Cowboys proved me so wrong last week that I could easily see the Cowboys coming back, beating the Chargers, or just covering again. Titans-Seahawks. This one's also tough. I don't like being so low on the Titans, even though I told you guys before the season started, I'm not that high on them like everyone else. And they proved a lot of flaws. Now, I'm going to roll with the Seahawks here at 5.5, and here's why. We need to start looking at Russell Wilson's stats in September, because for the last couple years, that man is just on fire to start the year. He's always up there for MVP. Oh, MVP, is he going to get it? Is he going to get it? And that Titans defense against Cardinals looked so undisciplined and so out of it that if they go into Seattle and they play anything like that, the Seahawks are going to roll over them again. So I think Russell Wilson's going to have a field day with that defense. Hopefully the Titans offense performs a little better, you would think. The Seahawks do not have the pass rush the Cardinals do, which is a plus for the Titans. But I still like the Seahawks here at -5.5. Sunday night game, Chiefs-Ravens. This one is also so tough. Ravens +3.5. I like the Ravens here, and I like the Ravens to pull off the upset against Kansas City in week 2. I think the Chiefs proved a lot of flaws against the Browns, even though the Browns played very well. I'm not taking that away from them. I'm not. But they did show a lot of flaws with that defense. And Lamar has the ability to expose that defense. The Chiefs and Ravens almost always have these really, really, really close games. And it's always like when they have those really close games, it's always in Kansas City. So now they have the edge in Baltimore. They have the home field coming off an embarrassing loss on Monday night. I like the Ravens to pull off the upset because a lot of people are low on the Ravens right now. I'm not. The Ravens are just like the Steelers. They have to prove me that they are not good enough to be up there with the big dogs until I say they're not. So I like the Ravens to cover, and I like the Ravens to win. Lions-Packers Monday night game. What a snoozer. What a snoozer that one is. Monday night games. Again, in my perfect world, all the games would be played on Sunday. I know. It's fun having more games on more days and stuff like that. But that being said, the Monday night games, I don't know what it is. That game was crazy. That was the game of the week. That might be one of the best games of the year. They always have like one game where it's like, whoa, that was a great game. Then the rest year's like, what? Like even when your team's on, it's like, I don't get it. And the way ESPN broadcasts games just always bores me. I need to check out the Peyton Manning and Eli Manning thing because I didn't watch that last week. I need to check that out because maybe that's a game changer. Because Peyton and Eli are great on their own. They could just have their own talk show without a game going on. But hearing all their insights and stuff, that would be very cool and very interesting. They also seem like they had really good guests last week too. So, but let's get to the spread. Lions, Packers -11. And here's another big one. I like the Packers to cover here, and I like the Packers to roll over the Lions. I think the main reason is, does anybody really think Rodgers is going to have a performance like that the rest of the year? No. I don't think so. And I don't think the Lions put up 33 points again. I was really surprised by that. And I think the Packers will have a pretty good game. I expect big things out of Devontae. Hopefully Aaron Jones gets going. And I think Aaron Rodgers will get it done, beat the Lions like he always does, and this time by a lot of points. So, yeah, there you are. There's my picks. We went 7-9 last week, so hopefully let's have a better week. But there's a lot of – I was doing this last night, and I was like, oh, God. Nobody's going to watch these anymore because I'm like the Cowboys, Chargers won, Browns, Texans, Bucks, Falcons. I'm just like, God, this is tough. But, yeah, those are my picks. Yeah, so with me, my situation is I am 21. I'm an idiot. I am 21. But when I turned 21, Illinois had this rule that you have to go to a sports book and sign up there. You can't sign up online. And the closest one to me is 2 hours away in Aurora. So, yeah, I haven't been really betting any money for sure. Also because if you watched last week's, I went 7-9. Like I have ones where I'm like, I really know that's a lock. I know that's a lock. And then others, it's just toss it up in the air. I would never bet on something where I'm like, I would never do that. But yeah, those are my picks. That's my whole situation. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. This is a talking disaster. I'm John O'Brien, of course. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Always appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great rest of your day.